Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, Rafa. Fuck, man, long time no see.
Yeah, man.
How are you?
You good?
Yeah, doing
well,
great.
yep.
Just so you know, David just moved to Berlin. Of course, working
Yes,
for.
we met last
Aga.
week.
Shit! Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, Yuri, I forgot to tell you. I mean, there was no. We met with Rafa last week and with Michi and Sandra and.
Shit! Really?
Everybody. Yeah.
Oh, were you all at Funkhaus?
No, David Löhlein's birthday party.
Okay. Well, where did you have it, Rafa?
In a small bar party place called Kante. It's a restaurant and bar upstairs, and they have a small intimate party room downstairs. Like, it was very spontaneously, like 50, 60 people, but it was a nice hangout.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. Good company. Good,
Mostly friends and like a few industry people, friends. Yeah, very small and spontaneously, because he was in town for the her set, and then he stood the whole week, and so we decided to make a small party.
And how was the success of the her set?
It was good. Yeah, it was nice feedback. It was a Vision Ekstase showcase with David and two others of the residents, Ahura and Nes. For them, that was the first time. They were like really nervous and really excited, but it was good.
Yeah, that's really awesome to hear. So anyway, I don't know what you know about the Backstage podcast. We said that we're not gonna do any like official introduction, but anyway, it's the 5th official season. We filmed 4 before, 3 of those being in person in Ljubljana. The 4th was kind of a recap of our living in Berlin, where we met. That's why we talk now. And you're the second guest of the 5th season. We said that okay, fuck it. It's been some time. We know some people from the industry that are doing this professionally. Of course, preferably for electronic music, but had also a few other professionals from other like acoustic stuff as well. And super happy to have you on the podcast. We really were looking forward. Had a bit of a slow start, but does not matter. Here we are.
Yeah.
So Rafa, what's going on in Funkhaus right now? What are you busy with daily these days? What's up?
Yeah, actually, I'm back in Stuttgart this week because we moved the office here and have some stuff to do. So I'm back in Berlin next week. And Funkhaus always busy times. At the moment, we're working on the new Height season, the Height events for this year. And then I'm very busy at the moment with the bookings and management for David Löhlein, who's doing very well at the moment. And still taking care of the bookings of Josh Wink, which is also very well. So it took us a while to get back on track with him, to be honest. So because here and there we had to do some adjustments, and when he's such a legend in techno, and he's around for probably 30 years or something. And when I started in 22 with him and Metropol, it was kind of difficult. But now, especially since that year, he's doing very well again. We're working on great shows, festivals for him. So all in all good and busy and exciting times at Metropol and Funkhaus. And we also have new office partners like the the agency of Kobusil and Klangkünstler moved in, so which are very good friends of us, especially Eddie, the booker of Kobusil, is a very good friend of mine.
Eddie moved to your place.
Yes, we're sharing the office now.
In the Funkhaus.
Yes.
With Totte Sonne.
Yes, exactly.
Shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's funny because Anastasia, the booking agent of Klangkünstler, worked for Michi formerly back in the days. And she's now with Eddie also at Funkhaus. And we're sharing the office, which is really nice because we're all friends, have a nice atmosphere, and very nice.
You should rebrand from Funkhaus to Powerhouse.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So that's awesome to hear. One question I had for you. Well, also when we were together in the offices, but like never spoke for too long or even like an hour straight, was how does one navigate in the industry when all the trends shift, and how the fuck do you revive the agent, not the agents, the artists' career, as you said with Yosh? Where did you start? What was your thinking behind it?
To be honest, we also were talking about that recently, because it's kind of a bit surprisingly that it switched now from a few months from or during the last 6 months probably. It switched from very difficult times to get him booked, especially in Europe, because in the US it's kind of different. There he played always way more than in Europe the last years, and then the shift came very very fast over the last month, and I think we put a lot of hard work in it. Josh always is producing music. He's always delivering. He's still a great DJ. But probably it's because of the trend is going a bit more to the classic music, all the hits, old music is more and more present these days. But the funny thing on the other side is that Josh is absolutely not doing is absolutely producing and doing actual music. So he's not when he plays, he's not that kind of classic DJ. He totally avoids and is not into playing old school parties or classic parties. But I think the constant work he did and we did together, and a few key shows, I think, like Berghain or Neopop Festival and a few others like Ibiza, and the key shows helped a lot. And a lot of promoters coming back, and even younger promoters now having him on the radar more and more again. And but to be honest, I don't have that answer on it. It's just nice and amazing for us to see that it works out. But we're still thinking about that, to be honest.
Yeah, but to me, you gave a very straight answer, because a lot of, not that we have that much myself and David, of course, David now way more than myself experience, in the booking and stuff and the artist management, but a lot of younger or people the same age that are also artists here from Slovenia, ask or just want to be somehow seen, but they don't get the thing when they have to constantly work for a certain amount of years, especially if you're from Slovenia, when the market is not that big, even harder, and sometimes it's really hard to tell them, or even be real with yourself, that it's not gonna take 3 or 4 years. It's gonna take 7, 8, 10 years of constantly putting out something. And that's what you told us, Josh was constantly putting out, constantly working, even though he was not getting the most bookings, but just like the passion, I guess, and the drive he has for the music and constant work. And that's
and he stood very true to himself. He didn't follow new trends. He didn't wanted to do hard techno or trance or whatever. He said, I want to do my music. I want to release and produce that music I feel and I stand for. And yeah, that's what he did.
So would you say that like, not what's better, but would you say to someone who is struggling at the moment that he should pursue what he feels most comfortable with in terms of, we talking techno, not some super niche thing, you know, or like adjust totally, you know, because in some cases, for example, I don't know if we can like address names, but Kleinkunstler was, I know him even before he was hard techno, when he was playing tech house at the most commercial club here in Ljubljana, you know. And what to choose now? What is your opinion on that?
It's difficult to say. I think it's not wrong, or there's nothing against it in general to change your style or to change your profile, as long as you're doing it in an authentic way and you're doing it with passion. So I think there is no master plan for that. If you shift your style and your profile and you do it right, you make it in an authentic way and you reach the right people for that, and they believe what you do, then it can definitely work. I mean, the worst you can do it, which a lot of other artists did in the past and they failed, if you jump behind every hype train. So if it's minimal tomorrow and acid the other day, and then it's trance, and you always running behind it, this probably won't work. But if you keep it real and doing it with the right passion and authenticity, then it can work. But it's very hard to say, do it this way or do it that way, or that way is right and that way is wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell us maybe a little about how did you do it with Josh, or for example, in the example of your working with David Löhlein, how did you approach this management plan? For example, do you sit down once a year and say, okay, like these are our targets and these are the clubs that we target, this is where we want to get your profile? How does that look like in practice? How do you set up a plan?
Also for Josh, we did a lot of target lists when we started working together, or when I joined Metropol, and we decided on which artists I work. And then we went through to hours of meetings and ideas and target lists and discussed a lot. But the first year, it was very difficult to reach these targets. With David, it's a little different because like he's in a completely different position. He's an artist who is like upcoming. So, and he has his own vision since he started. Of course, it slightly changed, and also he changed his style already also over the last 2 or 3 years. When he started, he was more like into that very puristic, hypnotic and stripped down techno. And especially over the pandemic, the more and more he produced and the more and more he worked on his own style and let loose from looking too much on other artists or orientating on other artists or labels. The more and more he shaped his own style, and what he has, and I think what is one of David's USP is like you hear that David Löhlein sound already, and if it's techno, if it's trancey, ravey, or even if it's house, you always hear these typical typical sounds he uses or the typical style he uses. And I think this is a big part of his actual success because, for example, he released on Solomon's dynamic label, he released on Voice Noise, he released on Key Vinyl from Freddie K in the past. He worked with Nina Kravitz, he released on Rekids, you name it. But every song or every track he did always has this own particular sound or sounds he used. So I would say, especially the tracks he made over the last year, you hear it and you know that that's his track and his style. I think this is something very special he has. And also he super understood that current social media game. So, because I think we don't have to, there is no secret. Without social media these days, it's very hard to get on the market or to get reach. So, and you can do this in a cheap way, or you can do this in a proper own way. And he found a very good way for him, and he's always like focused and working every day and thinking about what can I do, what can be the next steps, what can we do together, what projects we can realize, what could be a nice stream or what could be a nice reel idea, whatever. So I think this combination of his creativity and his focus plus the idea and the understanding of the current social media game, all of this put together, brings the actual success, and hopefully we will go on more over the next years.
That's awesome to hear, because that leads to my next question. I mean, not the question, but just like how you see or how you envision when you said that you're happy or excited that for the next years for David. And how do you, when you see an artist, of course, when you decide if you're gonna be his agent or you're gonna help him, of course, you first hear his music, I guess, or his persona or whatever, like creates a spark in you, inside of you, that says, okay, I think I can step behind this. But setting this apart, what makes you step behind an artist, and how what's, in every like business there's a certain long-term goal, which is like 6-7 years, that the business should grow to its like not to its maximum potential, but you should see where this thing can go. How do you decide on an artist that you're gonna that you're gonna represent him? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's different when I look back in the past, because over the last like 10 years or longer, I worked with different artists, and with David, it's a real special connection because he came to us to Lehmann Club some years ago as a total newcomer. He just finished his education at Cosmopop in Mannheim, where he did his the education, like in event management, social media stuff, and all that kind of stuff. Then he finished that, and these days he was like a local DJ. He did small parties with his friends, and he contacted me and was like, yeah, I finished my education at Cosmopop, and I want to ask if there's an option for him join the Lehmann team, because he wants to work on own projects. He doesn't want to be part of such a big company as Cosmopop. Also, he knows that he has big potential there, but he also will be always be part of this company. So he can't be that creative as he wants to be. And this reminded me a lot to myself when I was younger, because for me it always was one of the main goals to be as free as possible in what I'm doing. And then we decided to add him to the team, and he started as our marketing and social media manager. I think it was 2017 or 18. And from these days, from that day on, we became friends, and we went through the whole development he did. We started Vision Extase together in the club, or he with his crew, and he helped us a lot to get new views on the club and how the club could be shaped, because we did it already like 9 years or something in the same team, and kind of the 3 old men who were doing the club. And the club went well, but especially when a younger person joins you and gives you totally new perspectives, which you don't see because you work with your structures over years and it works, so you don't see the bigger picture. And so this was something he brought up on the map for Lehmann. So we grew together, and I was with him over the last years through everything. So that's why the connection I have with him is more special than, of course, I have, for example, with Josh, because Josh is an established artist. One of my first ever techno track I heard was Higher State of Consciousness, so from Josh Wink. And I was in the German word is Jugendhaus, like a youth house where all the kids hang out, where you have, like, you can go there for dance after school, you can learn DJing and all that. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah. We have how's it called? Mladinsky Center.
Yeah,
we say.
And there I heard Josh Wink the first time, and I still remember, because it was like a party room, and we put the CD in, and then these special acid lines came out, and so I'm connected with Josh Wink's music since I'm a teenager, like 12 or 13, and then I started working with him without knowing him in person or met him in person, because he lives in the States and he was part of the agency since a long time, and I only knew him from Zoom calls or emails. So of course this is a different relation and connection compared to David's. And also in the past, I worked with, for example, with Luigi Madonna many years, or with Gail Sun, with Kyle Geiger, and mostly I try to work with people I have a good connection with and I know for a longer time or in person. But the more and more I worked in the industry, I also learned to work with somebody even if we don't have this close connection, and see it only from the business side. So as a good example with Josh, so he's part of the agency, and he asked me if I'm interested to work on the bookings with him, and I was like, okay. I know the artists, I know the history, so I'm familiar with that, and I'm confident that we can do a good teamwork together. So, long story short, it's very difficult to say, to give you one clear answer, because for every artist, basically, it was different. Yeah, but if I have to choose, to work with new artists like David, or also Roof Ranger, for example, we have in the Lehmann agency, or actually also a few newcomers like Ahura, Ness, DJ Feel Too Much, who's more into the trance stuff, or Tamara Wirth. These are always also only artists I personally like, I have a strong connection with, and I think to get an artist growing, or to help an artist growing and establishing, it makes it much more easier if you have this personal connection, if you know each other, if you meet each other in person regularly. And so I think to help a new artist is a main thing or most important thing is to have a strong and personal connection. Because you have to know him or her to know like what's the goals or what's the strengths and what's the where you have to adjust, where you can help. And the more you talk to each other, the more you see each other, or the more you hear him or her playing or producing, the better you can help.
Yeah. And would you say that if you had like five David Löhleins, like say just like different names, different genders, whatever you name it, same producing skills, same like social skills, and same like social media skills, would you say that everyone could potentially be successful if they got the right mentality?
Definitely. Yeah. But I think if I would have 5 Davids, as you said, it's definitely too much for me to work on them. So I think as an agent, in my personal opinion, you shouldn't work with too many artists because you can't focus on everybody. And so that's why I always tried to focus on not too many artists or not to work with too many artists because I want to focus and help as much as possible with 2, 3, maximum 4 artists, I would say.
Yeah.
Of course, it depends on the workload, but I think too many is for one agent. Too many artists is not really the right way, in my opinion.
Yeah. And you said, by the way, David, are you here?
Here now? David, I was.
Okay. Should we wait, Max? Should we wait? Just kidding. Okay. I mean, I have so many questions, but you said in the youth home, you were listening to Josh. I mean, you just heard his first track, and he's back. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you what's your like, not musical in terms of musical theory, but musical knowledge in terms of musical history, in terms of musical what were you listening when you were young? What was your experience like from the streets as we call it?
Yeah, I think I went through a lot of genres and styles. I mean, I'm getting 42 this year, so there's a lot of musical directions I went through. So I think when I was like, when I remember the first music, it was something like commercial rap thing, like MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, and all that stuff. When I was
all the pop classics,
exactly, New Kids on the Block, and this kind of stuff. When I was like 7 or 8 or something, And then I had also like heavy metal days with Metallica, Guns N' Roses, but also like black and death metal stuff.
Oh shit! Really?
A lot of like.
Can never imagine.
Were the days like 11, 12 or something. And parallel to that, it was also a lot of Dutch hardcore and gabba stuff, because this was very big during that days. And I collected the Thunderdome CD series and all that thing.
Oh shit! You still have it?
I have it in my at my mom's keller.
Holy shit! How many did you?
I can't say, but a lot, because they had these unique combinations, these unique covers, mostly very dark and rough, like Dobermans or like crazy guys on it, or the demons, or whatever. And these days they were only always promoted in TV. You had TV commercials for Thunderdome, for Terrordome, for all that stuff in the German TV. It was really big. And then it went more to techno, trance, electro, like the classical electro stuff, which I dived into very much. And like from 14, 15 onwards, I got also into collecting vinyls already. Not being a DJ or something, because I'm old, so you had these vinyls. Everybody had a vinyl, a record player at home. And when my parents went shopping on the on the weekends, because I grew up more on the landscape in a small town. On the weekends, mostly Saturdays, my dad and my mom went to the bigger cities for shopping. And I always hated the small city, and I loved to go to the big cities. And when they went for shopping, they always left me in 2 or 3 like record or CD shops, and they were shopping the whole day, and I was like spending the whole day going through CDs and vinyls. And then due to that, I discovered a lot of like music from every electronic genres, from electro to trance to synthie pop to wave, gothic stuff, like you name it, everything. And started from that days on already to have an old record collection. So way before I started DJing, I had a big record collection.
So you collected vinyls before
Definitely.
it was cool. Yeah, but
and when did you start
amazing.
to DJ?
Around 2001. Sorry. So when a little late, especially compared to these days, when nearly everybody is a DJ now with like 15, 16 or whatever. But back in the days, it was very expensive to get like Technics player, mixer, the whole stuff for your home setup, and also the records were expensive, of course. Well, it wasn't like today where you buy tracks for €1 or something, or even download it for free. So it took me a while, because I always loved it. I always was interested in, but I never managed to buy the equipment. And then when I was like 20, 21, and I was already a proper raver, because I was in clubs every weekend, also mostly from Thursday to Monday or whatever. And one of my best friends these days, he had to go to prison, and then I got his equipment. So because he was in prison, then he came out, and he had to start like a normal life. He started a job and everything, and then he gave me all his equipment. And from that day, I was like kind of a bedroom DJ, and was practicing every day. And but I was very bad, so my enthusiasm into it was way bigger than my talent. So at the beginning, I was really whack. I recorded tapes back in the days, because this was the only way to record your music. And I wanted to give the tapes to my friends, and everybody was, maybe next time. So, yeah.
I'm when you talk about that, you had commercials for Thunderdome, or you said even Terrordome, or even all the gabber scene from Netherlands, in Germany, like on television. It's so fucking amazing, because all the DJs we talked on the podcast, for example, from Umek and Tim, but he's not that known. They always say that they had to go abroad, to get some proper vinyl, and it's so funny to hear someone just saying, yeah, we just went to like a bigger city, maybe hour and a half drive or maybe 2 hours drive, and like just to be there in the scene, you know. It was and it's so amazing to me that for us, for like the Balkan area, we were someone who, I mean, the they were someone who were looking at the scene from abroad or from the distance, you know, not like being a part of, but they wanted to be so badly, you know. But you were just like put there, you know, just like not even aware of that you are part of the scene,
Yeah.
just living there, you know. And it's so amazing to have like fucking commercials of Thunderdome or anything like that was not popular here on TV, and like to
Of course,
grow up with
I
it.
wasn't part of the scene because I was too young, but it was like I saw it in TV. I liked the music and this whole advertising they did because it was so like different to everything else, like loud, hard, crazy, flashy, whatever. And then you remember these covers they did, the Thunderdome covers on the CDs, maybe? They were super special.
Yeah. Are those the covers that are also on YouTube as a like as a banners? You know, like old Thunderdome. Oh yeah.
So
of course,
it was really really interesting and really fascinating. So yeah. And also, I remember when I discovered like electronic music via radio, because there was no internet these days, or very rarely, and so they were like the first streams were on radio. And what I just explained during the weekends during the day when I was at the cities with my parents when they were shopping and I was in the record and CD shops. At night, when we came back home and my parents went out for dancing or eating, whatever restaurants, what parents do on the weekends, I stood at home and we had in the kitchen like an really old analog radio. And I discovered an Austrian radio channel still running until today. It's called FM4. And it was really, really hard to repeat it because I had to build an extra repeater antenna with aluminium foil. So I had to enlarge the antenna. Extend it. Yeah, exactly.
You extended it
to get the proper signal of the Austrian radio channel. And they did every Saturday a radio show was called La Boom Deluxe, and they streamed and broadcasted from Austrian clubs. And back in the days, the clubs were like a lot of clubs were not only straight techno. You had like electro at the beginning, then or even like trip hop, hip hop at the beginning, then electro, then more techno, then trance, whatever. And so I made tapes, recordings every Saturday night out of these broadcasting shows from FM4. So and I had maybe not hundreds, but many tapes over the years with like broadcasted shows from Austria.
Holy shit! So amazing.
And you put them on cassette tapes, or
with the old radio, the old analog radios that is typical tape selection, and then you could record it.
Yeah. Just ripping the content from the royalties.
And then what, you listen to them through your Walkman or what
my,
did you use?
To Walkman when I was out, or in my room, because in my room I couldn't repeat it. I couldn't receive the signal, so I always had to sit in the kitchen in the corner where the radio was.
At the window.
Fuck, so amazing. But it's totally different times. Also, My father, who was like traveling a lot, was bringing. Of course, I'm a lot younger than you, but he was bringing like all the like original CDs from all the hip hop artists and rappers. You know, Tupac, Biggie, all those classics, Missy Elliott, Snoop Dogg, and et cetera, et cetera. And when you said like you were collecting vinyls and then also you had tapes and your Walkman and stuff, it was, for me, it was way easier and maybe even way more pleasant, like to grab a CD in your hand and like to look what are the tracks and also the messages, what came with the CD and with the all etiquette and stuff. And I could remember the tracks and the lyrics and like the beats and like just more than today, you know, because now it's just like scrolling and stuff, and most of the time I'm not even I don't even know what I'm listening because of algorithm just like puts me something that I should like, and actually it does get a lot of things correct, but it's sometimes strange because I've heard the track so many times and I should know its name and I know how it sounds and I know like the melodies, the rhythms, everything, but I don't know the fucking artist. I mean, of course, then when I look it up, but it's so bizarre that something like that might happen, you know. And how was that translation to like digital for you? How do you feel?
I remember it very well because from the day on you had an own computer at home. It went very quickly that you got all these DJ mixes and tracks were able to download. So and you after just what I said, collecting all these tapes over the years. After these days, it came this period like burning CDs. So we and from one day to the other, more or less, you were able to listen to all your favorite DJs as much as you want all over the world. So maybe Richie Hawtin plays at Fuse Club in Belgium, and you can download the whole set. Yeah, amazing! Like I downloaded it, and Carl Cox playing in Hawaii or whatever. Great, let's listen to that. So I got into that very quickly and was very much into that, and because I loved that music so much, and I was always like hunting for new stuff, especially from the DJ I was following these days mostly, and you weren't able to see those DJs that much in Germany or around the city I lived, or the village I lived before I moved then to Stuttgart, or the area of Stuttgart. But so this helped a lot to get more and more into the music and into the DJs. Yeah. So and after that, it was like, okay, I listened thousands of sets of so many DJs, and I want to see them live. And then I started traveling to see all of them.
And when was the time you met Michi?
So for the people who don't know him, of course, he's the guy who runs Metropol Artists and Metropol Live. And he has a very long history in the techno and electronic music business. Mostly known as the manager. Okay.
Sorry, it's my dishwasher just
mostly known. He was mostly known as the manager and booker of Chris Liebing and Locodice. I think he was also the first booker manager who discovered Tale of Us and brought them on the table. I think they also developed the Afterlife concept, he and his partner, former partner. He also created that rebirth of Chris Liebing and the CLR brand and everything. So, and I came in touch with him when he was working with Chris Liebing and CLR, because with Lehmann Club, we were one of the first clubs who had the CLR residency. So he was there, I think, probably every month. So, and we did a lot of parties together, the CLR residency at Lehmann, with all these artists back in the days, like, of course, Chris Liebing, but also Emerson, Brian Sanhaji, Tommy 47, Rebecca, all these guys. And so this was around 2014 or 12, 13, no, probably 2012, I think, around that. So definitely longer than 10 years. So, but I knew him probably also before, but only from seeing and partying together, but not really knowing each other or having a relation. But I think since 10 or even 12 years, we're working together, and we always had a good relation. I worked in also particular, sometimes for CLR or for the label, like helped with writing press release for events or for releases. He also always supported me as a DJ when he could. Like, I played a lot of CLR events over the years, and we always had a very friendly and very good connection over all these years. Not even that strong connection, because as it is, sometimes you see each other more, sometimes you don't. And after CLR, the CLR hype went down. We stopped with CLR at Lehmann. He did a few things, other things, new things. We did new things, etc. And and then we came together during the pandemic, the last year of the pandemic. We met again a few times, and he asked me what I'm doing. He gave me an overview what he does. Of course, he has not always had good days. Like in the scene, it's normal. You have ups and downs, especially when you work with such big artists or brands. Sometimes you have hype, then the hype is over, and they had their residency on Ibiza, or they did height events all over the world, like North America, South America, Asia, whole Europe. And not everything went well at the end. And so he decided to give the agency and everything kind of a restart. It started again like a little bit smaller than it was before. And then at the end he asked me if I want to join and be part of the new beginning, the rebirth of everything, more or less. And then we started working together 2 years ago. Probably, pretty much exactly 2 years ago. I think in beginning of April 2022, I started working with the agency.
So was that?
Yeah, I mean, probably a half year before you guys came.
Just then?
Yeah, we came on the 11th of April.
In 22nd.
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago.
Crazy. Then it was more or less exactly the same time.
2 years, yeah.
I always thought that for
as I said, we worked together for a long time, but at the agency I started in, I think it was March or April 22nd. It was 22. Sorry.
And how is your work now? Like it's split between like Lehmann and your artists and helping Michi. Do you have like anything else?
The main thing is Lehmann in Stuttgart and Metropol in Berlin, like Lehmann with with our projects like the club, the agency, the label we do, and Metropol with the artist and booking and events like height, radiance, and and the artist management stuff we do. So this is my main business, these are my main businesses. And going back and forth between Stuttgart and Berlin, like half of a month, like 2 weeks a month in Berlin, 2 weeks a month in Stuttgart. And I also have a few side projects, like I work with a club in Würzburg called Airport, which is one of the oldest clubs in Germany. Probably the oldest running. And I don't want to say something wrong, but they're going into the 35th or 36th year now. I work with them in regards of booking for the electronic music, or probably mostly techno. Then this year I worked with a new festival for the first time called Vortex Festival. It's a bit more hardcore-ish, between hard techno industrial and hardcore. This was in the area of Stuttgart in February, the first time this year. And that's more or less is it. So we do a few external events in Stuttgart with different partners, or also with partners of GoTech in Karlsruhe from time to time. But the main thing is like Lehmann and Metropol.
And what are, from your experience, you said you have a lot of experience and of course working with Mihi on all the projects that you named. What would you say are some of the personality qualities that can help a person to work in this music business?
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the, let's say, three qualities that
you should be as real as possible, in my opinion. There are a lot of people who are doing it on another way, but for me, it's very important to keep it real and do what you do with passion. I know it sounds very common, but without the passion you put in and without loving what you do, I think it's impossible to do it for such a long time, especially when I just said what projects I do and how much workload I have. It's impossible to do it without the passion and without burning for it. So focus is very important. Focus on the important things of your project. So what I learned, especially over the last 2 or 3 years, I only want to be involved in the topics I work on. So if you ask me about, for example, a new website or a new graphic or whatever, I mostly said, man, don't talk to me, talk to the guy who's responsible for that and who knows about this. So of course I can say I like it, I don't like it, but that's it. So I want to focus on my topics, I want to focus on the things I have on my table, and I want to focus on that things I'm good in, so which I can properly deliver. And stuff I'm not good in, I always be honest. I'm saying I'm not good in that. I can't do that, or I need somebody to help me with that. So this is something for me. It's very important. And to be structured, of course. If you have many projects, and you have to be structured as much as possible. This is something I still have to learn from time to time. So because you always have something in mind which is today a little bit more important, then you forget a little bit about other topics. So structure and focus is definitely very important for me, or I think for everybody who has to handle different projects. I mean, I have a lot of people who trust in me and who trust me that things are running. So I always have, or you have also a lot of pressure, of course, you have to handle this. It's something people don't talk that much usually, but it's true, and you can't decline it, because if you work with different artists, if you work on festivals, events, club, whatever, people trusting in you, that you keep the shit going. So, and that brings me back to the topic with like focus, structure, and passion, because these things are probably most relevant to keep the things going.
Yeah, it's a lot about your reputation and your connections, as far as we are learning in the last few years. It's like who you know, and absolutely you have to deliver. Right. So you probably build that trust over the years.
Yeah,
and you're mostly involved.
That's a good point. So especially with, for example, that new festival I was just talking about, that guy who runs it, it's completely new in the scene. He never did something like this before. So he jumped totally out of the blue in that game. And he came to me like 1.5 years ago, first time, via a friend. And we had the first meeting, and it was like very unprofessional. So he had a lot of ideas, and he had a few things which were interesting, but the whole meeting and the whole feeling was not really good for me. And I told him that. I said, I like the idea you have, and I see you have a lot of things done. You bring a lot of things which are very good to start such a project, but it's a lot of things are missing, and a lot of things we need to get done, or a lot of things which has to be discussed and has to be clear before I step in, need to be discussed or need to be clarified. So come back when your concept is solid, and when all these things I told you are managed, or when you can tell me more about that and more concrete. And some months later he came back, and he was like 200% prepared. Like he even had models of the arena. They had the light concept already. They had the CI. They had everything. So, and I rarely saw somebody who was that well prepared for a project like this without doing it before. And that was the reason why I decided to step in and say, okay, I have a good feeling now, and I think we can work on that without losing like reputation when I speak to agents, to agencies, to artists, and selling that project. So I had a very good feeling. I could speak with all the agencies and everything with a good feeling. And at the end, it turned out very well. We did the first event mid of February, 2,500 people from scratch, with a totally new concept in this area. It was the first time there was a festival like with mixed genres from hard techno, industrial to hardcore. So this wasn't here before, and the people liked it, and we got super good feedback from all the artists, from the venue, from the authorities in the city, and now we're already working on it for the next year.
Oh, that's awesome. And one question that might touch it, the topic. Okay, so for a Vortex Festival, they have come to you,
yes,
like if you could help them with the bookings, I guess. And but for example, different process or different mindset is for a club. And where did you enter the Lehmann Club? Like in
very
which part
first
of
day.
its
I
building?
built it.
Reputation.
We started Lehmann Club 15 years ago. In 2 weeks, we have like 15th anniversary. We're the same team, the same 3 friends from the very first day. It's Siggy, Basti, and me. And we also worked together for the club before Lehmann. There was a club called Club Prague, and this was my one of the most influential and inspiring club for me as a raver. So I was there nearly every weekend. And Ziggy was already working there as a night manager, and Basti was trainee there he worked for the former club owners. And I started there as a raver, then as a pusher, then as a promoter, and then I became I was able to DJ there from time to time, and then I became for the booker there for the last 2 years before it was closed. And after the club was closed, the guys decided to do a new club, and then Lehmann was established in 2009. And this is 15 years ago now, and we're still the same 3 guys doing it.
Holy shit!
Nice.
And how do you how did you set up all the things that
What do you mean?
Makes the club a club? So what was there need to be done, to
But
you could open the club for the public, okay, maybe that's a broad question, but in Slovenia we have a problem with the space, there's no such spaces to build a club, not even to rent it, not anything. So I'm really interested
the club,
how
the
you
venue
came
where
to
Lehmann
that.
is today, we are there in the same venue since the beginning. It was a club before. It was called M1, and this was one of the most famous clubs in Stuttgart, also in south of Germany, for more nowadays we would say business techno and house, all the Sven Fitz, Marco Carola, Richie Hortins were playing there back in the days already. Also Laurent Garnier, Umek, Westham, Monica Kruse, all these guys were playing. Yes, exactly. And
all the big fish, the whales.
Nowadays we'd say that the business techno guys. And this was compared to the Club Prague, what I was just talking about, where everything started for me, and which was more the rough and underground place. There was the dark and rough techno going on. They worked a lot with Tresor, they had a residency exchange with Tresor, and all with this Brighton techno scene, like Neil Landstrom, Christian Vogel, also Jeff Mills and Adam Beyer. These guys were playing there back in the days. So it was a total difference between Prague and M1. And that made it very difficult for us, because when we went into the location of the M1, in all these minds of the people were more like the business techno club, bright, not dark, fancy people, not the rough ravers. And it took us a very long time to get to bring our people or our crowd back to the club. We had a really hard start. The opening was with 200, 250 people in a 600-700 capacity venue. So it was kind of a flop, because all of our regulars from the Club Prague didn't want to go to the M1 because they didn't understand that it's not the M1. Still, we rebuilt it. We worked for some weeks, every day and night, to rebuild the club, to make it to a dark techno place, and not that fancy business techno place it was before. And the first months were very difficult, because nearly nobody came to the club, and that's why I'm until today still so thankful to Basti, who was the main owner these days, with his 2 former partners, but he was the main guy. And he always believed in the project, because from the business side, every businessman would have told you to close that club and run away, because it will never work. And but he said, no, we're doing it. We keep it up, and we believe in it. And after around 6-7 months, I think, the first time we decided to do like a Prague revival party, like a memory of Club Prague party in the new venue, to bring the old DJs there and to get the people. And this was the first day, which worked very well. It was kind of success. Like the people came and were like, okay, it's a nice club, totally different what we expected, and it gives us this Prague vibes as the former club. Was a good party. At that party, I became my tinnitus, by the way, since that. Yeah, since 2009 already from that party.
You have a tinnitus?
This was the first successful night, and then we did a drum code night with Adam Beyer and Joel Mull, and after this was also very successful. Then we did the Planetary Soul Systems night, and then it felt like, okay, now it works. So the people coming, the people see what we're doing. They exactly, yeah, right. And then another few months later, Chris Liebing came with Michi the first time to the club, and Chris helped us then a lot, Chris and Michi, but especially Chris with his vision, because he came to the club and he said the club remembers him to the old Omen Club in Frankfurt, which is one of the most influential clubs in Germany, especially Frankfurt, where Sven Feth was resident in the 90s, and where a lot of things getting started in Germany and Europe for the techno scene. And Chris said the club reminds him to that, and he fell in love with the club, and he helped us a lot with the sound improvement, with the booth. These were the days where a lot of DJs were playing with the digital setups, like mixer, controller. You remember these days? So when the setups took a lot of place, and he said, guys, build a proper booth, proper monitoring, etc. And so then he said, I want to do the CLR residency there. And from these days on, it really, really went very well over the years then. So Chris, we definitely thankful to Chris Liebing for that help back in the days, and that's why we still have a very good relation with him, and he plays for us probably every year still, even the time changed. But we will never forget about that, of course.
So believing in the project that you have, believing that you're doing good, and then in the long term, your chances are probably a bit higher. So how do you think it's a good measurement to know if it's worth investing your time and money and your energy into some project, or how would you recognize
difficult? Because as I said at the beginning, it was really difficult, and Basti and the owners lost a lot of money. But I think if you believe in the team you have, and if you don't stop working on yourself, the club, and everything, I think it's worth to try. But it's hard to say how long you should believe in it or not. I mean, if there is one day you can't pay your rent and your fridge is empty, probably then you should think about doing something different. But at least as long as you can survive, it's worth to believe in it, I think.
Yeah, so now we still have our fridges full and our rent is paid, and so we will keep going with everything. Yeah, we're on the right way. So with, like Yuri asked you before, with almost every project you are involved right now, it's either
Yes.
some kind of artist management or bookings for different brands, if I understood correctly. So, and you're involved into different projects,
Yeah,
also
more or
probably in
less.
the different
I would say
parts of Germany, right?
the projects with
Or
the
where?
club is all club related projects are Stuttgart and the area around, and Berlin. But I did something in Frankfurt
Okay.
also, for example, in the past, because my brother called me once and said he has a good friend, or his best friend wanted to start techno parties in Frankfurt, and if he can give me a call, and maybe I can help him a bit. And this is also already like more than 10 years ago. And the guy is Peter. He's a very, very good friend of mine today, or since these days. And yeah, I helped him to get into the scene with connections, bookings, and everything. And now he's probably the most successful and yeah, he's running that as the booker since a while. I think since after the pandemic, he's doing very successful parties at Tanzhaus West, and he also did a few other projects around the area of Frankfurt. But yeah, this was some years ago, and now I keep it with Stuttgart Würzburg with the airport club and Berlin.
Mm-hmm. And how would you approach, let's say that we are new club owners, let's say somewhere in the part of Germany that you've never worked before, and we call you, hey Rafa, you're a great guy, you know the scene. How would you approach, let's say, the programming of a club? Let's say we give you a residency.
I probably won't
How would
do
you
it,
approach
to be
it?
honest, because
How would you start setting up the program?
When I was younger, I made the experience that some guys asked me to help with a club in Hanover, and I was young. I wanted to do my experience. I was like hungry for new projects. Also, I needed money, and everything. And the guys made me a nice offer, and so I came into a new city and scene, not thinking about that I can piss off people who already there for a long time. So this turned out in big competition, big fights and problems. And so after that, I decided never go into somebody else's business anymore, or in somebody else's city. So with Frankfurt, it was a bit different because the guy who was behind Peter back in the days was an established club owner in Frankfurt, and there was a huge gap of techno. So we didn't piss somebody off. It was the opposite. We wanted to help Frankfurt to get back on the map with techno, especially the harder techno stuff these days. But yeah, always what I recommend always to people who are in this position, because this happens a lot, that people go to they have an existing brand, for example, or have good experience, or wanted to extend their party brands or whatever, and then going to different cities. And I always tell the people, don't do it, or look for one partner who's established there and do like kind of a partnership with somebody. But yeah, don't try to piss somebody off in a different city, or take their bread, because they're working for it or hustling for it over years. And then maybe you at the moment have better connections to different artists or agencies or whatever coming to the city, and yeah, I think it's not something you should do these days or in general.
Yeah. I mean, David, I don't know if you have the time about our podcast because it threw you out. Do you have it?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. No, just I mean, I could talk to you, Rafa, for fucking 3 hours, and we still wouldn't be on 10%.
Exactly.
No, for me it's
Just
fine.
let us know. I mean,
do we have
don't want to keep
a
you
time
like,
limit for the
locked in
podcast?
the podcast. I know.
So
I know you're
have,
super busy.
So it's fine. So I have time. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
We can jump into a few more topics and then we see. We can do 3 more episodes if you want.
Like coming back as we did with
I know him.
Marian, the ex-booker of he was before at Analog. Yeah, Marian, yeah.
Because
every time we talk.
He's also somebody who is like around, probably maybe longer or
whether
as
that
long
be
as
on
I
the
am.
podcast or it's easy.
No, but I know about.
Have you
I've
ever
never
been to?
So I think it was one of Umek's residency or one of his favorite club or something. Yeah. Because coming back to the times we talked about with the burning CDs, like downloading the mixes of artists. I think I had a few mixes from Umek at that club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, from Ambassador. Yeah, it was really great. I've been there just for one super commercial party, and I'm kind of not pissed that I haven't been there before, but we were young, and at the time I did not have the €50 for the fourth closing they did. They always said, the last party of Ambassador Gavioli, and they did like 5 or 6.
I was also on the last one. Yeah.
When was the final closing?
Yeah, so
the last one.
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah.
So
the real final closing, I'm not sure exactly. I think 2019, something like that. I'm not sure completely.
Yeah, but the place when I went there, the place was really. I didn't understand at the time, the whole like, how should a club feel in terms of like, it was a big club. I don't know. They maybe know for like 1,200 or so 1,200 people, something like that.
Yeah, at least I'd say.
Yeah, so it was club for at least something like that people, and I didn't quite understand the concept because I was not clubbing at the time in that like techno or house or like kind of underground or like dark-ish, and the club was really not meant to be dark, but the energy around the booth, because the booth was in the center and there was some bridges over and everything felt so like put together. And
but with the booth in the center, they were pretty much ahead of time.
The experience
if you compare it with today, where every club had this boiler room concept with people around.
Yeah, and it was really, really, really cool because it was like the dance floor was one pool, one pool, and then the stage was not too how to say too put up, so it was just like 40-centimeter like stair, and then the booth, and then everything around it, and fucking amazing when I remember from my head, But what would you say are now your like preferred go-to clubs if you want to go out for a proper night? Doesn't matter.
I don't go out
techno,
that much
house, electro,
privately. So when I do, I was at Robert Johnson on Sunday for Ricardo Villalobos. So this is something I always love to go if it's possible. Especially there, the club is like it's very intimate. Like 300, 400 people maximum. It's bright. It's directly on the sea, on the river. So when it gets bright outside, they don't close it. So it's getting bright during the morning. So from a dark night into a bright morning. So what I really like, and they have a strict age limit. So you have. I mean, I'm 42 this year, because something like that. Because especially for these parties with Ricardo,
age
you
limit,
have less kids, of course. Most of the people are around my age, or between 30, 40, and way older. So this is what I really like. I also like to go to Berghain a lot on Sundays, Sunday to Monday, but also spending most of the time in Panorama Bar recently. I always prefer like clubs than festivals, for example. Of course, it's nice to go to a festival and spend time there, meeting friends, and nice weather outside, blah blah blah. But if I have to choose, I always prefer like a dark, intimate club than a festival. So musical wise, it depends. So I don't like when I go privately. I don't like the hard techno stuff so much. I'm still really into like electro, but this is super niche. There are very less parties, especially in Germany. So this is not happening a lot, unfortunately. And what I really like is that like trippy minimal stuff, like Ricardo or a lot of the Romanian artists like Raresh, Barak, and all these guys. This is something I like to go when I just to party for myself.
Yeah, I see now, as we spoke before, like coming up from old hip hop, to almost a newcomer to the electronic music scene since, I don't know, 2012 with the EDM shit, Tomorrowland's 2012 mixes and stuff, and like listening all the compilations in the garderobe in when we were playing hockey, and now like progressing to techno and some firstly minimal, and meeting all kinds of genres on our path. Right now I see that when COVID hit, and when we had established the label Kibernet, Kibernet Kriminalität, we were all like tend to listen to like really, really dark in I call it neo-industrial, because it was really industrial, but in a new, faster, more synthetic industrial way, But right now I'm in a place where I like to listen to it, and I enjoy it from producing standpoint, as in, or what elements are put in. But if I want to go dance for say 8 to 12 hours, I cannot imagine myself on that hard stuff. It's just like some Rothat, maybe Maron, Francois X.
Nice.
Fucking. We have it on.
He did an all night
in K4.
We had him all night long in January at Lehmann for 9 hours. It was like brilliant.
That kind of stuff.
Really brilliant. But this is also like he's especially when he plays long sets.
Yeah.
He always,
do you think
he's also playing a lot of like minimal techno, but in a faster way. But the structure of the tracks is like super minimal. So.
Yeah. Very
not overloaded.
Very groove oriented, and not too saturated with the noises and stuff. I love him for. Yeah, exactly. And what I wanted to ask you, was also like what we talked, one of our first questions and themes. What genre do you think is now coming back or is like parallel to each other and is coming back to be like the phase, the phase of now 2, maybe 3 to 5 years after
Yeah.
like the hardcore
Yeah,
or the
we're
hard
talking about
techno
this, of
separates
course, a
to
lot
hardcore and
over
the techno goes
during
back
the
to
last
techno.
month, because
What
as an
genre do you
agent
think
or
that would be?
agency, you also should, you always should also think, trying to think ahead, what's next. And I think this really hard stuff will keep going for a while, but I think in different areas you already see that it goes down a little bit. Of course, you have these big guys like Kobusil, Ogus, Klangkünstler, whatever. Definitely, I think they will last there, of course, for longer. But so the hype, I think, will drop down probably in the next maybe 1 or 2 years, I think, but just my opinion. And on the other side, you see already that it's going to be more groovy, minimal wave, like Marron, for example, and a lot of other artists like keeping up this hard groove stuff. And yeah, I think this can be a thing. The trancey, ravey thing also, I think, is developing very well, and this will have his time. So they're growing a lot at the moment. So I think it's going to be more diverse the next years. So the people are open to a lot of new or different genres at the moment, in my opinion, especially after the pandemic. There were a lot of space for new styles, new artists, a lot of new female artists who grew up over the last 2 or 3 years. So I think it's going to be more and more diverse. You will have hard techno on the one side, the hard groovy stuff. Minimal will definitely come back, in my opinion. So maybe in a faster way than it was, but like the style and the structure of the tracks, you see it already at Panorama Bar recently a lot. They brought back artists like Daniel Bell, Magda, Andre Galuzzi. These guys are still playing there again. So often it's like you see something popping in Berlin or growing in Berlin, and then it's kind of a indicator to see what happens then the next years, for example. Of course, not a guarantee, but I think this can happen, and it's going to be exciting times, I think, for agents, for artists, for clubs, because everything is shifting very well, so very fast. Sorry, so an artist who was hot a year ago can be not relevant a year later. So, and then you have a lot of new artists coming up. So I think this is the most challenging thing for clubs, agents, artists to keep on track with the fast changings we will have. I think. What do you think from your perspective in a completely like other scene, other
So
different country? What is your feeling about that?
I mean, I will I will be quick. Yeah, my feeling is that a lot of new people are coming now into the electronic music. I'm not gonna say techno because I know some people can be very sensitive if I would say that new people came to techno, because this ravey and fast thing, it's more closer to like EDM style of electronic music. But I don't see it as bad. I see it as good, because a lot more people are coming still into our industry, and over time, over years, people get fed up with the style that they have been listening to. also me and Yuri, we didn't start with this music that we are listening now. And I think some people are here just for the hype. Some people will stay. And then after a few years, everybody starts discovering new sounds, and there's a lot more possibility for like new visitors, new people going to the raves, discovering music, starting working in music. So what I think, a lot of people are now coming in.
Yeah.
I think some of them will go out, and some of them will start discovering new styles and will stay here.
Yeah.
And I think generally I see it as a positive, because it's more people getting into our scene. But only, of course, time will tell. But I'm always rather more optimistic than more pessimistic, like being cynical. I don't like this is shit. To someone it's shit, but yeah, I think time will tell, but in more positive way.
Yeah. I'm I'm bothering here more with the question: what is from the artist's perspective, what is the most sustainable way to step into the scene? You know, because I kind of have an identity crisis of to which listening or producer group I am being part of. You know.
No, I'm hearing you properly.
Can you hear anything else in my because my girlfriend is watching something. Is it okay?
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So I thought I was being a part of that industrial neo-industrial stuff, and it turned out that it is not as sustainable as I have envisioned it. So it's kind of admitting to yourself that you were not the most right on it, and just looking forward on how in general, like in the whole like society, or in our group that I know, or people that come to our parties, are shifting also in style, and maybe to get back to the thing I started to figure out the most sustainable way an artist can also live in terms of get the gigs, get the money, and I think to answer your question, and or actually my question, as you said, Rafa, that the groovy is gonna be like a phase now. We see it with Schler, Alarico, and all those guys that are staying true to themselves all along. I mean, just adjusting with the BPMs maybe, and with few elements, but otherwise still staying in the path. I think that's gonna be big. Also, the Maron and Rothat is coming back. Fucking amazing set from Boiler Room. I've listened to that set, I don't know, fucking 10 times already. That part. And on the other side, there's gonna be, as we see it, as you said, big guys like Seller, August, and the guys that are stepping now in, but from more hardcore perspective. Industrial, as we knew it from COVID times, is gonna be turned into a super niche thing. And so far as I think, so far for the most like sustainable thing to still call it a thing would be like the real, the real techno, as we can interpret it, like minimalistic, loopy, simplified form of electronic music as it got started, because it's psychologically, I think, the most easy to listen to the longest of time, Of course, there's here and there some sessions that we listen for some experimental, maybe some even jungle, UK garage, whatever. But that's another sphere. But if I look at it from my point of view. Started with super aggressive shit, now like turning it down. Also seeing my father starting with super aggressive shit from punk, now watering it down to like really deep house, and to get like something in between, that's the most sustainable stuff. And yeah, that's maybe the answer to my question of what's the sustainability in the techno scene. And to answer the question in total, of course, being too long again, groovy part, gonna make a face, hardcore and super hard shit is gonna also step on each path. But what's gonna stay like in the middle, maybe have some ups, maybe have some downs, but still stay forever, is gonna be like the simple techno loopy 909 stuff.
Yeah, good point. When you just talked about, I totally forgot about this, like the puristic and classical techno, like you mentioned, Rotet, or especially at the moment, like Schleer and Alarico, this funk assault thing, and a lot of artists in that direction. Definitely will also, I think, coming back or being stronger again than it was over the last years with the pandemic and everything. But it's a good point, definitely.
And also in the end of the day, I think that if we stop discussing styles, I think it a lot has to do with your physique, because obviously we are not super old, but for example, I feel a difference between when I was partying at 24 and now when I party at 26, for example, in the legs and in the back. You actually, obviously you enjoy more if you just like do these groovy rhythms, and just not go completely hard. So everybody has, I think, this phase, and for talking to other people, everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the styles, everything is in cycles. Probably something that was in before then comes later back.
Yeah, and you see this in the last 20 years or longer, that everything is like repeating from time to time.
Exactly, and now the thing is even faster now with social media and attention span. The first like turnaround that we are experiencing it is, I don't know. So the Thunderdomes and stuff was 1997 or something between that, and it's almost 20 years where the circle turned, and I think it's gonna be like almost exactly 20 years when the style and the popularity almost picks up for the hardcore again. But I'm not sure how it's gonna prevail because of the social media. Is gonna be like 10 years? Is it gonna not be anything? It's just gonna be everything out, not like the phases. But that's more of a how do you say, philosophical questions and debates and thinkings.
That's why we're here. Yeah, maybe Rafa, it's probably the hour is pretty long now. Maybe if you have anything else to say, I have only a very short two questions.
Sure.
One is just from an interest. Who started Wet Festival?
My best friend who died in 2016.
Okay.
The guy who with for me, everything started with him. So I did the first party with him. I played the first time on his parties. We went through everything together. So we started first club project, first festival. Before the Wet Festival, we already had a festival series called Day and Night. And he just came up once with the idea, like doing the party in a big swimming pool, because the venue in Sindelfingen. But therefore, it was 2 years or 3 years, not really sure, I think 2 years, in Gärtringen, which is a small village next to Sindelfingen. And there was this smaller pool than Sindelfingen, but also with space for like 4,000 or 5,000 people. And yeah, there we started together. And then he died from one day to the other. And yeah, after that, Michi came in and Basti, the owner of Lehmann Club, and they took over the brand. And then they did it for another 2 years in Gärtringen and then moved on to Sindelfingen. And then also the partners from Munich came in, the permanent entertainment guys. So yeah, this is in a very short summary, the history of VET.
Mhm. Oh, so sorry. I didn't know that this was the story. I just kind of understood that you were involved in the beginnings.
Yeah, we were.
I didn't know.
As I said, we did so much things together and everything. The only reason why I'm here today and doing what I do is because of him. Because we started everything with him. He was doing it for longer times already. And yeah, he was a really chaotic guy. He had a lot of ideas and visions and projects in mind, which is nice and was sometimes difficult. Yeah, and we did so much things together, and then it happened what happened, and yeah, we kept it going then.
Okay. So, Yuri, if you have maybe something for the ending.
I'm really. I have a feeling that now we're kind of ending on a bit sour note, you know. I hope this is not the case.
No.
But I'm really glad that you took the time, Rafa.
Of course.
As we didn't have the time back then when we were at Funkhaus. And fucking amazing conversation. I fucking loved it. Really
thank you. Yeah, it was really nice.
We're gonna make it a few times more.
Yeah.
I'm sure,
always there when you have something to talk about. I'm here, man. I really liked it. So definitely, thank you for the invite. And yeah, I like the topics we were going through. And yeah, in case we should do this again, I'm there.
Yes,
we can do it. We can do it like every few months. Rafa residence.
Yeah, really, I'm totally up for that. I really liked it, and
okay,
yeah, it was good to see you again, Yuri. David, we met recently. I think in Berlin we will meet from time to time. Well, Yuri, when you next time coming to Berlin, you have something on?
I think it's in April for Sinoid at RSO. Something like that. I'm not sure. I wish I could come every month or every twice a month, but just moved into a new apartment here in Ljubljana. Just changed the job, and kind of. I mean, I'm settled now, but still a bit time consuming. You know what I mean?
There's no time.
Me? Because you were just...
That's how we say it.
You were gone for a second? You there?
Okay.
I lost it when you said you moved into the new apartment.
Oh, yeah. I moved into a new apartment, changed the job because I was working installing solar plants on the roofs, you know, after I got from Berlin. And now I mean I'm settled, kind of, but still it's a bit time consuming, you know, to come to Berlin every once a month, you know. But definitely, I love Berlin. You know, I love clubbing. In my sense, what I think it's clubbing, but yeah. So. Definitely, I should come to Berlin more often.
Cool. So hope to see you then again.
Yeah.
And yeah,